Hello, I'm Hannah and that's my best friend Elodie, and we live here in our beautiful Tudor cottage right next door to my lovely granddad. Having grown up here, I did somehow become a slight Miss Honey at 25, and I also decided that this would be the right time to set up my own business and start my cutting garden. Since then, Elodie and Ottie have joined my little family, and there's Cecil the squirrel, who will often be found in the cavity walls.
Once upon a time, we bought a fairy tale fixer-upper cottage on 7 overgrown acres. We're building an English cottage garden, but not the kind where Bambi and his entire extended family get a free salad bar. We need a fence. Luckily, our property is basically a forest with a house on it, and the trees are begging to be thinned. So let's live off the land and make it work. We cut some timber and ran it through our Norwood sawmill. There's something so special about building a garden using wood that grew right here. Posts went in, and our homegrown lumber became a fence. For the fencing, we went with budget-friendly hog panels. Just trimmed the tops and bottoms, and then drilled holes to tuck the wires neatly into place. Same idea for the top board. Slide, hammer, secure, deer, denied. Of course, no dreamy garden is complete without a whimsical gate. I sketched out a little arch and cut it with a bandsaw. My husband wanted to try timber framing, and it turned out ridiculously cute. I can already picture kids running through it, arms full of flowers, and me with a cup of tea taking a Jane Austen style turn in the garden. Then we mapped out our garden beds, and for the center, I found the most charming fountain on Facebook Marketplace. I pick it up next weekend, and I'm irrationally excited. Now, I know, right now the fence is giving a little more functional farm than fairy tale cottage, but hold that thought. We're adding a trellis and staining everything to dial up the charm. See that big unfenced area? That is where I'm building the cutest greenhouse that'll attach to the garden. Just wait. So follow along, because this cottage garden is just getting started and there's a whole lot more magic on the way.
If you want to create your dream cottage garden and don't really know where to start, here are some of the things you can try. A dense and informal planting style, so in the borders you can see I've just crammed them with plants that I love. There's a little bit of a colour scheme because I do like purple, but there's just a lot going on and no bare soil. When it comes to choosing your plants, you can start with cottage garden classics, things like foxgloves, delphiniums, clematis, geraniums. Roses are a really great and generous plant and they can flower a few times in 1 year. Cottage gardens have practical roots, and historically they would have also been used to grow food, spices and medicinal herbs. So it's great to mix up your planting and get some food in there as well. If you're a beginner, you might want to try plants that come back every year, things like strawberries, raspberries and asparagus. And of course, we think of animals when we think of cottage gardens. We chose ducks because we eat the eggs and they're also lovely pets and help with pest control. Cottage gardens have a really natural and organic look to them, and you can achieve this by using reclaimed or natural materials. In my garden, I weave loads of hazel and willow around the edges of structures. Last but definitely not least is the wildlife. This garden is their home, so we might as well make it as wildlife friendly as we possibly can. Let's see what food we can find in my cottage garden. I always start with the ducks, but they didn't lay any eggs today, so nothing from them. Next, I went to the big greenhouse, and I don't use this very often, but we do have a peach tree at the back. This is the first time I harvested anything from this peach tree because it's quite young, and these were so tasty. I can't wait for this to get bigger and to grow more of these. Next, it's the polytunnel. This is where I grow heat-loving plants like tomatoes, aubergines, melons, that kind of thing. We found a cucumber in here. Things are a bit slow to get started this year because this summer the weather has been so gloomy. It's done nothing but rain for the last month, and while that's been really good for the garden, it hasn't been good for ripening the tomatoes. So only a few tomatoes today, but these were good as well. I had them in a cheese sandwich for lunch. Next, it's raspberries, and this is probably our last raspberry harvest, but they've done really well this year. This is maybe the third time I've come out here to pick them. So those were really tasty. Into the basket they go, and here's everything we picked today from our cottage garden. Here are some of the main reasons we got runner ducks in our cottage garden, and they are lovely pets, but there are some practical reasons too. The first of which is slug control, and runner ducks are really good foragers. They will eat just about anything they can find, including slugs and snails. So if you're like me, you like growing vegetables in your garden, they can be a really good organic pest control that saves you relying on other methods. Another reason that's probably quite obvious is the eggs, and female runner ducks are really good at laying. They lay most days of the year and they take a few months off over the winter. And the eggs are amazing. As you can see, they have a really big yolk, which does take a while to get used to if you're used to eating chicken eggs, but it's really good for baking and scrambled egg too. The third reason, and one of the things that's brought me the most joy in keeping ducks, is they're tame, especially if you hatch them from eggs yourself. So some of ours I have raised from an egg, and they were adorable. They would sit on my shoulder, follow me around the garden, and were quite happy to spend time with me and sit on my lap in the garden, which was really, really sweet. That's just a few of the reasons, and there are many more, but obviously do your own research if you're thinking about keeping ducks as pets.
A year in my cottage garden. Spring. Summer. Autumn. Winter.
Welcome back. It's day 8 of transforming my ugly backyard into my dream cottagecore garden. I was able to make a ton of progress today because I actually fixed my rototiller. I got up most of the grass and was able to put my compost down. Next I'll be putting my borders in. I'm thinking either wood or bricks. You guys let me know what you think would look better. My chaos flower garden is finally coming along. I cannot wait till she is in full bloom this summer. Okay, bye. See you on day 9.
Hey y'all, my name is Emily. I'm in the Houston suburbs, so 9B, and I started gardening in 2023. I've had a few questions on how I got started. When I first started, I followed Miss Kara from Blooming Joy Flower Co., and she had a great video on a really basic setup that I followed. I started with one little box that I just bought off Amazon and put straight into our yard after breaking up the underlying soil, and then I filled it with a mix of garden soil and compost. After that, I went in with 2 rows each of zinnias, cosmos, and sunflowers. These are very easy flowers to start, and they do well in a hot environment. Once those started growing, I was absolutely hooked, and I've just been trying new seeds ever since.
So I think this Tayberry arch is probably one of the best decisions I ever made in the garden, because look at this. It is just loaded, absolutely loaded in Tayberries, and they're so easy to pick.
Today we're gardening. I'm scared. So we spent a lot of time working on this side of the garden, but completely neglected this side.
It's a weed forest at the moment. Wait until you see how many plants we bought.
We're gonna be busy.
Oh, it smells so good. You look so good in Dickies.
I feel like a mechanic. Okay, this isn't too bad.
Speak for yourself, I've already lost motivation. I am not built for this life.
That took way too long.
I gave myself carpal tunnel. I can't deal with noise. It just smells like shit.
It is shit.
Old MacDonald had a farm.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Honey, I hate it. You can buy all these plants for 5 sessions of therapy.
I know which I'd rather.
Let's be real, I probably still need therapy. My magpie friends come to visit.
We've decided on a cottage garden.
I need a pizza after this. And we're done.
Yeah.
So excited to see how these all grow. We'll keep you updated. My hands look like this, so our garden can look like this. So pretty. Not gonna lie, I feel like Snow White.
Lots of love, Josh and Matt.